Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen is a classic novel published in 1813. It tells the story of the Bennet family, specifically focusing on the second eldest daughter, Elizabeth Bennet, as she navigates the social conventions and romantic entanglements of the early 19th century English society. The novel is set in the fictional town of Meryton in Hertfordshire, England. The Bennet family consists of Mr. Bennet, a sarcastic and intellectual gentleman, his wife Mrs. Bennet, whose primary goal is to marry off her 5 daughters, and their 5 daughters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Catherine, referred to as Kitty, and Lydia. The plot unfolds with the arrival of a wealthy young bachelor named Charles Bingley, who takes up residence at Netherfield Park, a nearby estate. Mrs. Bennet sees this as an opportunity to secure a good match for one of her daughters and encourages them to befriend Mr. Bingley. Jane, the eldest and most beautiful Bennet sister, forms an attachment to Mr. Bingley, while Elizabeth is initially unimpressed by his friend, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, who is seen as arrogant and aloof. As the story progresses, Elizabeth's prejudice against Mr. Darcy deepens, fueled by his dismissive behavior and the unflattering accounts of him she hears from others. Meanwhile, Jane's relationship with Mr. Bingley suffers setbacks due to the interference of Mr. Bingley's snobbish sister and Mr. Darcy himself, who believes Jane does not truly love his friend. Elizabeth's prejudice reaches its peak when she overhears Mr. Darcy making derogatory remarks about her during a social gathering. This incident further sours her opinion of him. However, circumstances bring Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy into closer contact, and she begins to witness his acts of kindness and integrity, slowly challenging her initial judgment. Another major event occurs when Lydia, the youngest Bennet sister, elopes with George Wickham, a charming but unprincipled soldier. The scandal threatens the reputation of the entire family. Mr. Darcy, who has developed genuine feelings for Elizabeth, takes it upon himself to rectify the situation by paying off Wickham's debts and forcing him to marry Lydia. Elizabeth's realization of Mr. Darcy's true character, combined with his intervention in her sister's scandal, leads to a gradual change in her feelings towards him. She acknowledges her own errors in judgment and grows to respect and admire him. Eventually, Mr. Darcy proposes to Elizabeth, and she accepts, overcoming her initial prejudice. The novel concludes with the happy resolution of various romantic subplots. Jane and Mr. Bingley reunite and become engaged, as do Elizabeth's close friend Charlotte Lucas and the humorous and affable Mr. Collins, who initially proposed to Elizabeth but was rejected. The story emphasizes the importance of overcoming personal pride and societal prejudice in order to find true love and happiness. Pride and Prejudice is celebrated for its witty dialogue, social commentary, and the timeless romance between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. It remains one of the most beloved and influential works of English literature, exploring themes of love, marriage, social class, and the power of first impressions.